Welcome back to the social work race again. Yes, this is the platform where we get to have frank conversations about what it's like on the front line of social work and as frontline workers. I'm getting my tongue twisted again to talk about. No, actually, this is the safe space to have uncomfortable conversations, but also a place for learning and a place of resource. Just want to let you know as well that we also have a live session on my Instagram channel on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. UK time. And also I'm on TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube. And it's a full-time job managing these social media platforms. So I need help. Anyway, thank you for joining me again. Something that's close to my heart is a topic that really, I tell you, it's so sensitive, and a lot has been going on in the media lately around child abuse, the vulnerability of children, and how can we say, groomers, all of that. I honestly do not think that we will ever overcome this problem, but we have to get better at dealing with it. Groomers and abusers will always be in society. It's a part of the human condition. Um, that's it. That's it. So what we have to do as parents and as professionals is help them improve how they protect their children. Do you know what I mean? So I want to play you a video. I want you to, if you can't hear it, it's on the podcast, but you'll know a man called Rolf Harris. You know something? Rolf Harris is old school. A lot of you listening may not know him, but he was a part of my. When I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, Rolf Harris was there after school and in the school holidays, and we used to watch Rolf Harris because he was a good artist. He's a well-known character on I think it was the BBC. So yeah, he was a part of my growing up, right? And years down the line, as people get older and they feel, you know what, it's time for justice, people are exposing a lot of the people that we trusted in society for sexual abuse. And it looks like in the BBC, there was a culture of this amongst the people that we least expected. And that's the point of this session, is to just, and all my sessions are really brief. They're only there to start conversations. Also there to, if we can, inform how we proceed with assessments and supporting families and adults, right? But I'm opening up the can of worms on this, and so it should be, and it needs to be kept open, because when we stop talking about child abuse and vulnerabilities, then our children become more vulnerable. It's as simple as that. Now, I have children, and whenever I hear these stories, I just become so angry. And so what it is, I came across this video. It was wow, reminiscing. And I haven't followed the news too much over the years. The news, I'm not a news guy, but I remember that Rolf Harris was recently, probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago, convicted of sexual offences. Now, he's been labelled in the media as a paedophile. And I read up on him, and yes, it looks like, people, multiple people 20, 30 years down the line are saying, actually, he abused me. And that's the same thing with Jimmy Savile, right? And so what we have to do is be honest about the fact that when there's multiple people saying something, there's no smoke without fire. But the thing that we're going to look at today is the inability to see them. So what I want to do is play you a video. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Watch this. Tell me what you think. In fact, even if you pause the video as a training session and discuss this video of this man who is a convicted child sex offender, just pause the video after you've watched this and then have a discussion and then come back in. But here we go.
Isn't it good to be alive on a day like today? Good one, isn't it? Hey?
Yeah.
Have a seat there. Breathe that air. You feel it all over your skin. It's good, isn't it? Sort of feeling you want to give somebody a big hug like that, or one of those little pats makes you feel good. And it's that sort of touching I want to talk about today, because it helps you to understand the sort of touching that doesn't make you feel too good. If it's hard to explain, you could always take your dolly and you could use that to point out to your mummy where you were actually touched, where you didn't want to be touched. Or you could draw a picture and you could point out on the picture where you were touched. You all understand what I mean, don't you? Touching can be one of the nicest feelings in the whole world. Let's sing that song again, and this time maybe it'll mean a bit more to you. And remember, most people want to help. So if you can remember all the things that give you that yes feeling, then it'll help you to be able to say no to those people who are really bothering you and giving you a no feeling. Tell them to go away, and we'll get all our friends around us and we'll sing a song together.
1, 2, 3, 4. My body's nobody's body but mine. You run your own body, let me run mine. And again. My body's nobody's body but mine. You run your own body, let me run mine.
Isn't it good to be alive on a day like today? Good one, isn't it? Hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that. And this is it. When I watched that, it made me realize that you cannot really see an abuser unless he's really unaware of his behavior or her behavior. It's very difficult to see them. I think that's the point, and the importance that we keep shining a light on how they operate so that they are more exposed. Okay. That's really the topic today. My observations from the video are this, right? Is that he makes himself hard to see as an abuser because he's saying all the right things, and you, his demeanor, his appearance really are the perfect smokescreen for seeing an abuser or seeing what he was doing. So I want to take you to another page of mine. Stop that screen, present, share screen, and let's look at this one. Hiding in plain sight. And this is from a really good website that I used in my studies. Oh, lost it. Here we go. Psychology Today. Brilliant website. Okay. Hiding in plain sight. How to spot a child predator. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you can all see this as well. Now, as much as we might say, protect your family, here it goes. Protect your family by knowing what to look for and where to look is a challenging thing. And even for us as professionals, we are more informed, but to see it is very difficult. And this is the problem with sex predators. Let's have a little snapshot as to what they're about. Sex predators walk among us. Sorry, I did say I use this website. I use this website a lot for my assessments. My assignments when I was in studies. So it's a good one for you all. Use this website. It's very good for theories and a good understanding of theoretical approach and theory to inform as well. It's very good for that, and to understand how to use theories. It's very good for that. So it says here, sexual predators walk among us. They are both men and women. They are both old and young, and they are from all types of occupations, economic classes, and demographic backgrounds. Perhaps you think your family is safe because you checked the appropriate websites to verify there are no registered sex offenders living near you. That's a good start, but registered sex offenders are perpetrators who have been caught and convicted of a qualifying offense. How do you detect those who have not been apprehended or even detected? Here are the clues. Now, you can go through this website. We don't need to go through it all now. But there was something I wanted to go to. Here we go. You cannot identify a sexual predator by looking. They are hiding in plain sight in your neighborhood, your workplace, your kids' school. And while you cannot identify them visually, you can sometimes detect them through their behavior. In pursuit of establishing inroads to access victims, predators will push the boundaries of interpersonal relationships, both physically and emotionally. Now, this is the thing. The ones to look out for a lot of the time, I'm not going to say a lot of the time. Let me be careful. The ones to look out for also are the ones making the most noise. That's tough because now you're looking everywhere, right? And they're in every profession. They're in every corner of society. And like one lady said, which is something that really disturbed a lot of people online, when she said it, I believed it. And she said, she believes that sexual predators are in every family. However you want to take that. But that is the safest way to look at it. And in the work that I'm doing, you have to consider that fact. There's a sexual predator in every family. If you look at it any other way, you will lose more than you gain. You have to consider that sexual predators, those who are inappropriate with their children or families or minors, they do not look like anything. That's why some of us will disagree, because they'll say it would never be him or her, not my uncle, not my cousin. It wouldn't be pastor, elder, that teacher. It wouldn't be the vicar. It wouldn't be, no, because I've grown up with them all my life, and that's the point. You won't see them coming. Rolf Harris, you would never see that man coming. I was watching that man for years as a child. And looking back, I can't see why he would have been like that, but he is like that. Not only him, around children, yep, making a great noise about the safety of children, yet multiple allegations of him from different people saying the exact same thing, inappropriate touching, etc., etc. And that's the point. You can't see abusers. And he makes himself, or they make themselves, hard to see because they put themselves really close to you. So now we're going to be hypersensitive now after hearing what I've just said and say, well, what am I supposed to do? I've got my notes here, so I look down. And then being in your face, they're very difficult to see. So what do we do as professionals? Well, look, I can only address this in part because it's a big topic that needs a couple of hours of lecture, which is not what I'm about. The point is this: you have to secure yourselves as parents and as adults and as professionals. You can't search out pedophiles. Sadly, you kind of have to wait until they act. Or I shouldn't say pedophiles, I should say sex offenders or predators. That's the best way I'd like to describe it, because not every pedophile is a predator, which is true. But what we want to do is to be aware that because we are, in many respects, surrounded by predators, what do? We, as professionals, will inform and educate parents on how to keep their children safer. Do you get that? It's not hard. This is why recently in the media, in social media, there was a man who's well known, Jeffrey Marsh, I might as well say his name. He was well known in the media for the attention that he gave children and for any professional in social services. Now, I've put up a post and it's got like 11,000 views now, for some reason, probably because it was a trending issue. Everyone on apart from one person has let me say it again. Only one person out of the thousands of comments I have on there has criticized me. Okay. However, out of the thousands of comments, everybody's in agreement. Predatory behavior. Now, he's putting himself in a position of trust with children, but there are, like predators do, they will eventually at some point try to pull you away from your safety net, which is you as a parent. So if we can deal with that, we have to learn some of the signs. Now, one of the signs is when a predator tries to take you away from your place of safety. So parents, we cannot be too trusting of adults. When an adult is always trying to, and I've seen it with my own eyes because I grew up with it, okay? I've had this direct experience. I can speak from personal experience, and I can speak from the multiple people that I know personally in my personal life that have gone through this. And what the predator does is they try to at some point pull you away from your parents or your friends. That's what they do. So I want you to get that, because they can't be seen and because they can't because predators can't be seen and because they cannot be identified at first, you're going to have to tweak your hearing, tweak your sight. And if you can't do it that way, it's very difficult to do, then you just have to be safe. So I posted recently and said, I stitched a video with this woman who said, look, when I was growing up, when my children were young, they weren't allowed to stay out. Hey, when I was young, I wasn't allowed to stay at anybody's house. And I didn't understand it until my mom told me her story and my dad told me his. Now I get it. Because predators are everywhere. So we as professionals, I'm reiterating this. Teach parents and teach children how to be safe. Not everyone is to be trusted. But if people are still trustworthy, then they will respect the boundary. That's how we keep children safer. We ask questions. If we're trying to understand who the abuser might be or if there is an abuser, we ask questions, we dig with questions. And at some point, if you're lucky, the information will come forward. Yeah. And as I'm talking to you about this topic, I'm aware, this is me being critically reflective as I speak, reflecting on my present. I'm aware that I'm feeling frustrated and angry because I don't like the notion of child abuse. Yeah. So we can't chase down every predator. So we as professionals, we document how we've advised the family to be safe. And we do that through safety planning. So at the end of your assessment, I'm sure, I've never worked in adults, but I'm guessing in adults, you would have a safety plan of some sort or a contingency plan. And in a safety plan, if it's around abuse, we document that we have advised a parent on how to help or support their child being safe with the specific strategies, the things that we've discussed, and and give them resources as to places or websites or people to speak to or websites or books or whatever it might be to check out and educate themselves. That's what we do to safeguard them. Yeah. This has been a heavy topic. And I can speak from personal experience. In my family, there was a very close friend to me who was a predator for years. And it's still hard to believe this person did it. It wasn't to me. It was to someone very close. And I think I've heard enough stories from my mom. She's not alive now, but a lot of stories from my mom who spoke about the people that did it to her, and they were really close. And to be fair, there are, and I think as professionals, we have to be prepared for when parents are sticking up for or justifying the behaviors of those who have been accused as abusers. We have to document that we have warned them that they need to be very much more aware and protective of their children. about when children make a disclosure about abuse of any kind, parents have to go into fifth gear in protecting their children at that point. Not all parents are prepared to do it. That's the truth. I've worked with young people who have told me, mum didn't believe me. Oh, so many. There's so many. Dad didn't believe me because they said, oh, no, he wouldn't do that. But it's not because of my experience, but I can relate to the fact that the abusers are invisible. You're not going to be able to just look unless you've got a really keen eye. You're not going to be able to see them or look out for them so easily. It's not going to work out that way. So from personal experience, yeah, this person was completely invisible. And I would say to any social worker, dig. Because if you were to imagine, if you suspect that there's an abuser in a home or that someone is an abuser, you will save a life, hopefully, if you get in there early enough. Yeah. Yeah. And the fact is, there are too many cases of mothers who are so afraid. It's mothers, specifically females, women, or, without offending anybody, but that's what we have to call them in social services. And the mother parent who tends to choose the boyfriend over the child. A lot of that happens. And so get ready to educate them on their priority being their child. Anyway, I rant because it's an emotive topic for me. I hope you learned something from it. Keep having the conversation. Tune into the Instagram live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Check out the TikTok channel as well. It's a bit of fun as well, but it's then also quite serious. And take care of yourselves.